But it is Friday, which means we're going to give you a quick review, there we go, of what we talked about this week. On Monday, we talked a little bit about what to expect if you're moving from a low-carb diet to eating more plant-based. And I told you that your body is going to replace your glycogen stores. And the glycogen is what your body stores in your muscles and in your liver. It's your backup fuel source. It is made from carbs. Although if you don't eat enough carbs, your body can turn protein into it. It's really hard, and it's hard on your system. But you can do that. But so when you move from being low carb to being plant-based, you can expect to gain anywhere from 2 to 6 pounds, depending upon how much your glycogen stores were depleted. And that is because your body can store up to 2 pounds of glycogen, and then it stores it with water molecules.
Now, does that fluctuate depending on, say if you're way overweight and you switch and go back?
It doesn't matter.
That 2 to 6 pounds is the same regardless?
It seems like that's the case, yeah.
Okay.
What I've seen is that regardless if you move from being plant-based to, move from being low carb, which is keto, paleo, Atkins, any of those ridiculous diets that have been going on for now decades, to being plant-based, you can expect your body to adjust that way. And your body's going to freak out a little bit because you've been in, survival mode. So you have to give it a chance to kind of calm down. And
I guess what I was thinking is that maybe if you're extremely overweight, that number might be bigger.
Everything I've read says it's about 2 pounds, roughly 2 pounds. Everybody stores about 2 pounds of glycogen. So thank you for tagging people, Chuck.
Yes,
we appreciate that
absolutely
greatly.
Fantastic.
On Tuesday, we talked to you about the Eskimo myth, and that's an excuse that a lot of people who are on keto use. They say that the Eskimos or the Inuits. Eskimo can sometimes be considered a not very kind term. So the Inuits, that they eat all fat and they're healthy and they survive and it's fine. And so eating low carb or eating keto is a perfectly reasonable way to go.
Yes.
The truth of that is, yes, the Inuits do eat that way. That is true. However, they are not healthy humans. They do absolutely have heart disease, and most of them die before they're 60. So we told you before, yes, you can survive that way. The human body is amazing when it comes to its ability to survive on just about any form of calorie intake, but that doesn't make it an ideal option.
Right. And also keep in mind for the keto fans out there is they actually never go into ketosis. So they don't actually do a keto style diet. They get their fiber and
they get carbs, not necessarily fiber,
but they get their carbs and glycogen, I guess.
So I told you a minute ago that when you switch to being plant-based, that your body is going to restore your glycogen stores in your muscle. When you eat animal products, animal muscle, they do have glycogen in them, and so you do get carbohydrates that way.
And they were at the fringe of a sustainable diet. They live at the fringe of being seriously ill and being enough to survive. They're not thriving.
No.
That doesn't happen in their lifestyle.
Not by any stretch of the imagination. And then on Wednesday, we talked to you about what does it mean for a diet to work? Because that is something that I see a lot on our posts. People make a lot of comments of, well, I'm low carb and it works. And when I kind of dig into it and I ask them, well, what does works mean? What they mean is they're losing weight. Mm-hmm. And yes, absolutely, if you reduce your calorie intake or you deprive your body of a nutrient that it needs, it's going to lose weight. That's how the body's made to survive.
And keep in mind, most of the time when people say they cut out carbs, what they're cutting out is the crappy processed carbs. Because they weren't eating good carbs to start with. So by not eating carbs, they're not eating the buttered bread. They're not eating, all the... Sorry. I've been known to spill. But they're not taking in processed foods because they're cutting that out. So yes, you're going to lose weight on that. Absolutely.
Well, and there's an interesting point. I heard someone say yesterday in a video that I watched that what people consider carbs, which is like cookies and ice cream and cakes and all those kind of like really processed foods, they're actually not carbs. If you actually broke them down, they're more fat than they are carbohydrates. They do have some really simple carbs in them, but they're not carbs. They're mostly fat. If you eat a donut, you're eating more fat than you are carbs, even though people associate it with carbs. And people talk about the bun that they eat with their hamburger. It's not the bun that's the problem, it's the stuff in between it. So a diet working is an interesting way to look at it. For me, it's more about, is it healthy? Am I thriving? Do I feel well? And I think that losing weight is a side effect of a lot of things. We told you that you could lose weight doing cocaine and heroin and chemo and diet pills from the 80s. That doesn't make it healthy. Just because you're losing weight doesn't make it a healthy option. So we encourage people to not use that as their barometer.
Right. And also keep in mind too that if you're 100, 150, 200 pounds over your ideal body weight, losing 30, 40, 50 pounds is not a big deal. I mean,
it's great.
It's
no,
great.
It's not bad.
It's not a big deal is the wrong word to use, but it's not as substantial as somebody who's, 5 or 10 or 15 pounds over their ideal weight and they lose that. That's the weight that's really
harder.
hard.
Yeah.
So, you can change your diet, and if you're extremely overweight, you're going to lose weight.
You can do just about anything and lose weight if you're substantially overweight. Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's the last little bit of weight, the last 20-ish pounds that are the hard ones.
When I was a bodybuilder, that last 10 to 15 pounds that get you in show shape was the absolute hardest pull the hair out of your head, thing.
Fortunately, it all grew back.
It all grew back, yes.
And then yesterday we talked to you about the excuse that a lot of people use, in that they say, well, so-and-so ate and drank and did whatever they wanted and they lived to be 92 years old, or, whatever. And the two things I suggested to you, one was, how healthy were they really? And something I thought about after we got off yesterday was, how many people do you know that are over 75, still alive, over 75, and are thriving, who are obese or overweight, or and eating
They're not
crap?
taking statins, they're not taking blood pressure medication, they're not a type 2 diabetic. I mean, these are accepted common things that everybody expects to go through.
And you know what? It does happen. Some people that just happen to have really good genes and they manage to survive a long time. What is Chuck asking us? Healthy from the inside. Yep, blood work is definitely a way to measure it.
And Chuck, you weren't around. We both got our blood work done recently, last couple of weeks, and
the numbers are great.
Yeah, nothing but gold stars. I mean, my doctor just said, "Go away, you bother me."
The one thing about blood work that's interesting is that when you lose weight, your blood work will get better just because of the weight loss. And so you have to look at it over time, because there are definitely people who eat keto who are like, well, my blood work got better. Well, except for their cholesterol, of course. But they hide the symptom of diabetes because they're not taking in carbs. Their body isn't processing carbs well, but they hide the symptom because there's not carbs for their body to process.
And not too long ago, Robin had somebody tell them that their keto or whatever they were doing, or paleo, whatever diet they were doing, and their cholesterol was great. Upon further conversation, they're taking a statin.
Right.
So
exactly.
their cholesterol is artificially great.
Yeah.
It's not actually
it's
great.
It's being finagled.
Right.
So yeah, we talked about that. But the thing, going back to the idea that people give you the excuse that, well, so and so eats really badly and they live to be really old. It is possible. Some people have really good genes.
There are rare cases.
But it's what psychologists call survivor's bias, which is, well, it must not be dangerous because somebody's done it and they lived.
Right.
And what I say to people when they start giving me that excuse and it shuts them down and I don't have to deal with the conversation anymore is, there are a lot of people who ride motorcycles without their helmets on and live. That doesn't make it a smart choice.
Right.
Because, we all know that if you're on a motorcycle, you should wear a helmet because your head is pretty important. But a lot of people choose not to, and a lot of people die because of it. So that is the thing every time I've said that, somebody has just kind of gone, yeah, okay. And they just leave me alone. So I would recommend that you use that one if someone tries to use the survivor's bias to guilt you into eating something you don't want to, or telling you you're being ridiculous or whatever.
Exactly.
What are your thoughts on that?
I have the same thought. Is you'll always find that one person that knows somebody that's lived to be 90, 100 years old, and they, like you said, drank, smoke, whatever. But the problem I have with that is you know one person in a million, and you think, well, that's going to be me too.
Right.
So I can eat, I can drink, I can smoke, and I'm going to be that one person. They're rare. They are extremely rare. Even within families, they're rare.
My grandmother is just shy of 90. And has pretty much eaten whatever she wanted. She didn't smoke, not a heavy drinker, but she ate whatever she wanted. She's in terrible shape.
That's it.
She's missing toes now that had to be amputated. She's basically, not living a great life. That's not who I want to be. I want to be alive and well and vibrant and living my best life.
Yeah, she's not living a whole life. That's what we want to do. We want to live a whole life for as long as possible.
Yeah. So those are our thoughts on that for this week. If you guys have anything you want us to add next week, let us know. What's Laura saying? Also, a way to lose weight. Human head weight weighs about 10 pounds. Well,
there you go. Lose the head, you're going to lose 10 pounds.
I don't know if that's obviously a good choice, but...
Well, Marie Antoinette didn't like that option.
No, it's valid. But if you have a subject you'd like us to cover, let us know. We're always open to trying to, doing some research and helping you guys out, so let us know. Please do make sure you like and share. Visit our website, rnrjourney.com. There's articles on there that I've written. Make sure you join our newsletter. I send out a newsletter every Wednesday, so make sure you do that. And go over to howtofeedahuman.com if you haven't had a chance to watch our webinar and get access to our master class.
Correct.
I think that's correct. All that stuff. So yes, do like and share. We appreciate it greatly.
Yeah. So with that, we will say, eat real food, mostly plants. Have a good one.
Have a good one. We'll see you on Monday.